Hello everyone, this is Florian Munsch. I'm here in the office of GSP Resource, and Simon Dyakowski, President and CEO, is joining me today. GSP is a mineral exploration and development company operating in BC, British Columbia in Canada. Its main flagship project is the Alwin Mine Project, and this is a company or a project with some history. So there was copper mining on the project, and this is special, adjacent to a giant mine in Canada. So I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you. So we've done an interview, I think, a year ago, so investors might be aware of the total picture. Can you give us some bullet points? So what is GSP doing?
Absolutely, yes. So we did speak about a year ago, and it was right before we had started our first drill program at the Alwin mine. And so we've now completed 2 drill programs since we last spoke. But maybe I'll give a bit of a background on the Alwin mine and where we're situated before we talk about the drilling. So the Alwin mine has had copper production for the past 100 years. Initially, it was at the turn of the 20th century, high-grade copper mined from surface. And then in the late 1960s and early 1970s, a small underground mine was built, and it went out of business in the 1980s when the price of copper dipped down to around 60 cents per share. GSP acquired the project back about 2 years ago, and when we last spoke, we were planning to drill the unmined portions of the mine. There's only been very limited mining at Alwin, so we believe that in today's copper price environment of over $3.50, $4 per pound, it was a good idea to go and drill from surface and to expand the resource from a smaller high-grade resource to potentially a much larger tonnage, lower grade resource. And we think this is a good idea because our next door neighbor, less than 2 kilometers away, is the Highland Valley mine, which
Teck
is
Resources.
Teck Resources. Yeah. It's one of their biggest mines. It's the largest open pit copper or molybdenum mine in Western Canada, and it's growing almost towards us. It's within 2 kilometers. So, you know, many mining projects are based on proximity to producing mines. I'd like to reiterate that ours it's not just a proximity play. It is like directly adjacent to
in the extension area. So in the direction they are extending the pit.
Right, it's right there, and you know, when you're standing on the property, you can hear and see the mining trucks at the mine next door. So so it's a very good area because mining projects are very difficult to put into production when they're grassroots and they're new discoveries. You know, there's considerations such as infrastructure, you know, disturbing nature. So we're in a very good location because we're obviously right next to a huge mine that's producing, and there's roads and power lines and everything is right there, and it's not a pristine nature environment, and you know, it's a very good place where there's, you know, potentially mining companies around us that could help us develop it as well. So the area that we're in is actually known as British Columbia's mining heartland. It's the main industry around Kamloops and Merritt.
If I understand it right, the Alwin project, it kind of has 2 different angles because it has been a small, high-grade mine.
Yes.
And also it's adjacent to this big porphyry system.
Yes.
So if you design the drilling campaign, and you've been drilling,
yes, we have been.
How do you structure that? So are you hitting for the high score, like proving some porphyry, or are you going to show the market, okay, there's a significant high-grade resource to develop?
Well, so we do have both targets. So what we focused on to date is we're drilling into the high-grade structure, and we're trying to prove out tonnage all the way from surface to the high-grade structure. So that's been successful. So in our first drill campaign, we hit a high-grade zone, but we also hit several low-grade zones on the way to it. And when we averaged that out, we had a 60-meter intersection of about 0.3% copper. Now, on a new discovery, you might not think much of 0.3, but the average the average grade of the mine next door in a recent presentation was 0.278% copper. That's their head grade, and the cutoff grade that they use next door is around 0.1% copper. So for us to hit a 60-meter intersection of better than that average grade was very interesting to us, and so we decided to. So that was the drilling that we did last fall. when we last spoke in September. We now have done a second drill program that we completed back in July, and just a couple of weeks ago we announced the initial results from that drilling, and the highlight there was 150 meters of approximately 0.28% copper equivalent. So it's more than double the width of the last drill intersection.
That's where the strike length begins to be interesting for porphyries.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And so in the summer we drilled 5 holes, and we've only actually announced results from 2 of those to date. The final 3 holes are still in the lab, and we expect to have results from those out sometime in September or early October. And then we have money. We've recently raised money to go and continue drilling and to test some other porphyry targets, and to also test the Alwin mine from the north. So we've limited our drilling to date to testing from the south, drilling north. So we have a huge area north to south that we want to test as well. So that will be the focus of our upcoming drilling as well.
So some plans for the immediate future.
Yes.
We have a very good copper market. You mentioned it in the introduction.
Yes.
And the company is, I can say that, still under the radar. So the market cap is about 5 million Canadian.
Yes.
Yeah. And being that close, that adjacent to a major mine. So I wish you best of luck really finding another good intercept. You've had some high-grade results as well. And I think we close the interview now, or would you like anything to add here?
No, I think that you've summarized it nicely. We have hit some high grade, and I'll highlight that in hole 1 we actually hit about 4.4 meters of over 6% copper equivalent, and then 158 meters of 0.28% copper equivalent. Yeah. So it's been successful. We're pleased with what we've been seeing. We're financed to keep drilling, and we expect to have more exciting drill results coming out over the next 3 weeks before we actually go back and start drilling again. And at a 5 million market cap, in a very solid copper market, I think GSP is it's poised to continue to succeed.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
This is GSP Resource, Simon Dyakowski, and if you want to find the stock, the ticker symbol at the TSX Venture is GSPR, and we will post the WKN for the German people as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.